Let's look at my morning must-read, a smart morning must-read from Bloomberg View. I'm going to flip this on its head and let Olivia help me with NATO. Bereshitsky, it makes sense for Mr. Putin to find this kind of equilibrium, allowing his country's investment to rebound, to gain momentum while keeping Ukraine on the hook. That implies a frozen conflict scenario, and that goes, Olivia, right to NATO, flip it on the head, their equilibrium in this moment in Europe.
Right, and what he is saying is that Putin is stuck, and that's the way, or I should say Kiev is stuck, and Putin likes it that way.
That's a good way.
Still with us on set, Admiral James Stavridis, former NATO commander. You testified to the Armed Services Committee this week that actually you think the right strategy is to send deadly weapons to the Ukrainians, a strategy that the EU says they oppose. Why is that the right move?
It's the right move because when a bully comes at you, you need to stand up to the bully. The best thing we're going to end up with at this point is, in fact, a frozen conflict by increasing the cost to Putin of further bites out of Ukraine. You have a higher propensity to freeze the conflict and not see more of Ukraine fall.
What about the argument that if we send 10% more tanks and weapons, Putin's just going to respond and send 70% more?
I think
we're adding fuel to the fire.
I think it's highly unlikely because he can't buy that level of conflict, and he knows if he really rolls Russian tanks across that border, he'll get even more sanctions from the EU.
So how do you deter Putin?
How do I
deter Putin?
You continue with the sanctions. You continue with targeted personal sanctions, which I think are the next logical step. You move the weapons to the Ukrainians. That's part of the deterrence matrix. And you continue to bring the opprobrium of the international community against them.
Who are you looking for leadership out of Europe?
Out of Europe, I think it's Angela Merkel. She stands as a leader who has kept the Europeans together in the sanctions.
She can say to the French, let's go, let's get with it.
She absolutely can. She carries that water, and she has been very firm on Putin, and I think a further Russian move, to Olivia's great question about what if he rolls in tanks, he's not going to, because he knows that will trip the massive sanctions from the Europeans.
James Stavridis with us with Tufts University.